Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer is in Manhattan at Kansas Farm Bureau visiting with commodities experts, including Mark Nelson, Director of Commodities for Kansas Farm Bureau, and Kerry Williams, Grain Merchandising Manager for AgMark. Next is this week's Kansas soybean update. And then we're back at Kansas Farm Bureau, where Kyle talks with Jamie Lacker, an area agronomist with Syngenta. Then it's our KFB legislative update with Stacy Forshee. And we'll end today with Dr. Du-Hong Min, an alfalfa specialist at K-State. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle and Mark Nelson as they discuss the kickoff to the new policy development year.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I'm at Kansas Farm Bureau. Today they have a program dealing with commodities, and Mark Nelson is the Director of Commodities for Farm Bureau. Do I have that right?
That's correct. Director of Commodities, Kansas Farm Bureau. I work in our advocacy division.
Now today, entire day of program dealing with your commodities. Let's first of all give people an idea of the different commodities, subgroups within Farm Bureau.
Yeah, we have 8 ag advisory committees, 4 on the crop side, wheat, feed grains, oil seeds, hay and forage, and then 4 on the livestock side, beef, dairy, swine, sheep, and goats.
And the point of today that you bring your people in for?
Well, we finished up our policy year with our annual meeting in December. Our American Farm Bureau had their annual meeting just in January, and really this is a bit of a kickoff to our policy development year. And so we bring our members together, and this is our first time that we've had a conference where it was, we're trying to invite all members, any members that want to come, but primarily a lot of times we aim this for our commodity advisory committees because they're going to continue to meet at the end of the day and start this whole policy development side. Again, asking and talking about what are the issues that we're coming down and we're going to be seeing through 2016.
And for instance, one commodity might be concerned about imports and another one might be concerned about exports and another one transportation.
Oh, absolutely. Different things come up with every committee, from CRP rental rates to, ARC county payments, the Farm Bill, bit of a review, going back and saying, hey, do we like the way things are working? Do we have input maybe for the next Farm Bill? Because they're already starting to talk about that. Things like Old World Blue Stem on our hay and forage committee. So, yeah, many, many different issues coming from these different committees.
Truly, you vote on your policy in December, but during the legislative time right now in Kansas or during the legislative year in Congress, things come up that you might need to change policy and you start to look at those things.
Absolutely. Once we set our policy, yes, that holds for the year. But again, now we're starting to look back and say, are there new things we need to be thinking about? Are there new issues coming down the pike?
And that amount of fluidness that you need is important, but on the other hand, you can't change till your membership tells you to change.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We start with the committees. They make recommendations. They go to our board. They'll come back to our resolutions committee, and we work it through the entire process throughout the year.
We're visiting with Mark Nelson. We're in Manhattan at Kansas Farm Bureau. He is the commodities director with Kansas Farm Bureau. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Folks, stay with us. Kyle will be back with AgMark's Kerry Williams.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Ag AM in Kansas, brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
We're back. Let's join Kyle and Carrie Williams as they discuss the challenges that come with grain merchandising.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Carrie Williams. She is the grain merchandising manager for Agmark. Just real quickly, tell the folks that aren't from North Central Kansas what Agmark does.
Sure. We're a grain merchandising company, and our owners are cooperatives, so we do all the grain merchandising for the cooperatives.
And today we're at Kansas Farm Bureau. You talked to the group about, I guess some of the challenges that come with grain merchandising and all the different issues. Right now, it's probably really challenging.
It has been, yes. I mean, so much has changed in the last couple of years, going from deficit commodities to almost every commodity having surplus and surplus stocks. And so it's a completely different situation than what we've had for a while.
Truly, the thing that sets our prices, though, besides demand, we have a lot of different issues, whether it's international exchange rates or international freight rates or local freight rates.
Agree. Yes. Freight. I mean, transportation costs are a huge part of that. There's no doubt. You can throw in the dollar and the value of the dollar too. I mean, we've just had a lot of outside influences that are encouraging or discouraging exports right now, and that's having a big impact on the usage of our transportation as well as just our competitiveness in the world markets.
When you're moving grain long distances, that has to do with rail. And a few years ago, the railroads were getting a bad reputation of not being able to move the grain. That's really changed.
It has, yeah. Actually, right now they've gone to, just because of the lack of exports in the marketplace, a surplus of cars available in the market. And a lot of the investments that they've been making are not being fully utilized right now because we just aren't seeing the business happening. So it's a complete shift from what we had seen.
And we're seeing that in shipping, or ships on the ocean as well. Hundreds of ships just at anchor.
That's true. Yeah, if you look at the Baltic Dry Index, that's a solid indication of just the ocean freight and the utilization of it. And we continue to hit new lows, which obviously is not a healthy situation for ocean freight usage.
Well, when you have railroads setting idle and ships setting idle, when that machine, if you will, has to crank back up, it doesn't crank up overnight either.
No, that's a good point. I mean, the whole system runs much better when we have a balance of usage and availability and everything is being utilized versus when you have things shut down and have to fire them back up, much less have personnel that they have to hire in order to have them come back and run. Those aren't things that happen overnight, certainly.
As a merchandiser, I'm not sure that people understand that you have to find a home for whatever the farmers sell to you, and sometimes that is domestically, sometimes it's overseas, sometimes it's even local.
That's right. I mean, the function of the market is basically for price to work itself and figure out exactly what homes we do find, which right now is a challenge. I mean, we've got a finite amount of domestic usage that we've got, and we rely on exports to utilize the surplus. And today we're just not competitive, and so we're just gradually seeing a abundance of grain continue to pile up in the country.
We're visiting with Carrie Williams. She's with Agmark in North Central Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Stay with us. Next up is this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Carrie Weefald, Agricultural Marketing Director with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, joins us. Carrie, the month of March has been proclaimed Kansas Agriculture Month.
We have a lot to celebrate within agriculture, and specifically within Agriculture Month in March. The National Agriculture Day for 2016 is March 15th, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture and our agriculture communications and education partners across the state have a full lineup for Ag Month activities.
One of the great things that has come out of this, too, is the Neighbor to Neighbor statewide food drive.
Dillon's Food Stores has been very supportive of our Neighbor to Neighbor food drive. That's held annually during the month of March, and our Kansans across the state will start seeing the Neighbor to Neighbor do all that you can displays and barrels in food stores to encourage Kansans to make donations, whether it's monetary or the gift of non-perishable items during their shopping, to support neighbors across the state through the Dillon stores, also through harvesters and local food banks within the communities across our state. We will have a kickoff with Governor Brownback on March 2nd at Harvesters in Topeka, where our ag group will come together and we'll package meals for harvesters so they can distribute them that week. And then we will have our public launch and challenge citizens across the state to support the Neighbor to Neighbor food drive.
On Ag Day, March 15th, you can really make Ag Day in your hometown, too.
Agriculture is so vital to our state, with about 43% of our total economy being touched and direct economic outcome of an agriculture organization or an agriculture business within communities. It's also a way for our agriculture groups to advocate for our industry and to really educate consumers who are coming in and out of local retail outlets about what agriculture means to our state. We have 4-H clubs, SFA chapters who will be out on Ag Day doing awareness and advocacy, but also establishing community service events on the local level that benefit their communities as well.
And Carrie, if people want more information about all the Ag Month and Ag Day activities, what's the best way they can do that?
Number one, going to the Kansas Department of Agriculture website. Under our education and events, we'll have Ag Day activities. We also have a great social media presence online on Facebook. National Ag Day has a website where teachers, educators, members of communities can go in and learn about why agriculture is important and why we choose to celebrate Ag Day and Ag Month in our case here in Kansas.
Carrie Weefald, Agriculture Marketing Director with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. After the break, we'll join Kyle and Jamie Lacker. Stay tuned.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us. Kyle and Jamie Lacker now discuss the challenges of the upcoming growing season.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer at the Kansas Farm Bureau building in Manhattan. Have Jamie Lacker. Jamie is with Syngenta, and she's an area agronomist. Jamie, as an agronomist, can you give us some idea with the coming growing season what sort of problems or challenges we may be having?
Sure. in a given year, we've got a variety of different pests and issues that we have to deal with in a growing season. And that varies quite a bit from the eastern side of the state to the western side of the state. But year in and year out, it seems like we continually have a Palmer amaranth problem. In addition to that, water hemp, mare's tail, and kochia are all some pretty common weeds that we seem to have difficult time controlling.
One thing that seems to have been a better understanding the last few years is the profitability and the use of fungicides on crops. Probably not more of a need, just more of an understanding that it's good management practices to use it.
Sure, fungicides have kind of had an up and down climate. Last year we had a lot of rust. We got a lot of southern rust in the corn, and we had stripe rust in the wheat, and definitely drove growers to make those applications. And they saw some great returns on their investment there. I know many growers that wish they would have done it sooner, or some that maybe applied it to half their acres and not all their acres and would wish that they had. So definitely seeing the value in those fungicide products.
We talk about resistance and managing resistance. As we look at that for things other than weeds, do we have that problem with fungicides and insects as well?
We do. Some of our neighbors to the south have found that they have strobilurian resistant frog eye leaf spot, which is a problem in their soybeans. And in addition to that, we're starting to see trait resistance developed in insects and other chemistries that insects have developed resistance to as well. It's really important that we make sure that we're implementing best management practices to avoid spreading these resistance issues.
And quickly, best management practices would generally involve?
When it comes to chemistries, we want to use effective multiple modes of action. So we've got more than one just mode of action working on an insect or disease for that matter, or weed. In addition to that, using cultural practices, mechanical practices like tillage is a potential option, biological. So, if we're talking insects, there are other insects that will attack some of the pests that we would like to control. We want to make sure that we protect beneficials as well. So that's just a few. There's a lot of best management practices that we could implement to reduce resistance.
We're visiting with Jamie Lecker. She's with Syngenta, an area agronomist. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Manhattan. Back to you, Jamie.
Come back after the break for the KFB Legislative Update with Stacy Forshee.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
I'm a patient of Kansas Regenerative Medicine in Manhattan. I had stem cell therapy in my hips and my left knee. My wife and I both are patients. We went down there the same day in November. Since then, my hips are feeling a lot better. I can work now most of the day if I want to. And before, if I worked in the morning, I was done in the afternoon, or if I worked in the afternoon, I was sure enough done for the rest of the day.
Welcome back. Please enjoy this week's KFB Legislative Update.
I testified on House Bill 2595, which was a bill reserving regulations of nutrition labeling for food menu items to the legislature if a national standard isn't adopted. Basically, in my testimony, I just stated that Kansas Farm Bureau wants to make sure that labeling of food is consumer friendly and it's not confusing. So we just feel that a national approach would be the best answer. and not a state by state, county by county, or even city by city. Those are some things that would be very confusing to consumers. And we also feel if foods are labeled as, like, for instance, genetically engineered, then that would also lead to the confusion to consumers that there might be something wrong with that, when the facts are that there absolutely is no nutritional difference between a GMO food compared to a non-GMO food. So I just basically stated some of those facts, and we were very much in favor of House Bill 2595.
After these messages from our sponsors, Kyle visits with K-State's alfalfa specialist, Dr. Du-Hong Min.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Let's join Kyle and Dr. Min and learn some exciting news about low-lignin alfalfa.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer at the Kansas Farm Bureau building in Manhattan, Kansas. Have the opportunity to visit with Dr. Du-Hong Min. He is with Kansas State University, alfalfa specialist, and you have some exciting news about low lignin alfalfa. Why is that significant?
Yeah, reduced lignin alfalfa has developed for the last couple of years, and it will be very important because the reduced lignin alfalfa can give a lot of flexibility to farmers in terms of harvesting windows. So in other words, alfalfa has been harvested every 28 days, but farmers can delay their harvesting to every 35 days. So by doing that, farmers can still maintain the yield, even higher yield, and then maintaining forage quality. Because usually after the blossoming, the forage quality goes down big time. But by having this reduced lignin alfalfa, farmers can still maintain high forage quality. And also it might give some, reduce the cutting frequency from 5 to 4. So by doing that, farmers can save some money as well. So.
Well, truly, and it also opens that window on weather. If you have to delay because of weather, you aren't giving up the quality of the feed.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you have some weather forecast in next 2 to 3 days, then usually after rain, farmers, hate to harvest. But by having this reduced, lignin alfalfa, you can wait another week, after blossoming. So although you have a rain, but you can still wait a week and then harvest, week later. So that gives a lot of flexibility in terms of harvesting by maintaining yield and quality.
So if I'm reducing the lignin in the plant, does it not stand as well?
That's a good question. Actually, the companies like Forage Genetics International and Monsanto, those companies have some knockout gene techniques to just take the gene that is responsible for a lignification process. So they still give certain level of standability. So the plant still doesn't have any lodging issues compared to commercial variety.
Is there any downside from the low lignin gene being reduced or in it? Is there any downside for this? Will all alfalfa eventually have this?
Well, that's a good question. As I understand, I don't see any downside because by still delaying your harvest window almost a week to 10 days, you still can maintain your forage quality and even you can have a higher yield. As you said, there were some issues on lodging, but as I understand, there is no difference in terms of lodging between reduced lignin versus the commercial alfalfa varieties.
We're visiting with Dr. Du-Hong Min at Kansas State University. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamInKansas.com.